Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Intro to Company Shops webinar. My name is Bre. I'm part of the Customer Success team over here at commonsku, and I will be hosting today's session. So thank you so much for joining. Now, before we dive into today's content, I want to let everybody know that this webinar is being recorded. We'll upload a copy of the recording to our community events page shortly after the webinar wraps up. You are more than welcome to take notes as I'm going along, but you can also just feel free to sit back and relax. The recording will be there for you to watch at your leisure. If you have any team members that weren't able to join us, they can grab the recording as well. Now, I can see that quite a few people are here already, so this is wonderful. If you happen to have any questions come up as we are moving through today's content, please feel free to add your questions to the Q&A panel of the webinar. We won't be able to answer them in real time, but we can reach out through email afterwards. Now, for any of you that have joined the webinar without actually logging into Zoom, please just add your email to the end of the questions. Sometimes we get questions without a contact, so we're not able to reply. So please just make sure your email address is listed there and we will get back to you. Now, we are going to get started straight away. So what we'll be covering today is taking a look at a company shop inside commonsku. So we'll talk about how you can set up the shops and how they work from the end client's perspective. After that, we're going to go through the order processing. So what happens once an order is placed? How are you, or what are your options available at that point? As soon as we're done that, we're going to go into the back end of a shop. So actually take a look at the different settings you can use, including activating the inventory feature. And then we're going to wrap up with a couple hacks. So just tips and tricks from my experience using company shops. Now, as a final tidbit at the very end, I will actually have a guest on today's session. I'm going to leave that a secret for now, but we will have somebody come on at the very end to tell you how they have used company shops so you can learn from their experience as well. All right, so enough chit chat. Let's get straight to the shops here. So we are going to start with the end client view of a company shop. I'll walk you through what this experience would be, and we'll actually look at placing an order. So first off, what is a company shop? Well, a company shop is kind of your standard corporate store. When we're making a company shop for our clients, we are giving them a central area that they can open up and place their different orders. Now, you're able to enforce minimum quantities inside of your company shops. So we'll take a look at this very shortly, but you can decide the minimum that the shoppers are able to purchase. So here is the landing page of our company shop. I do want to highlight that I've activated the chatbot feature for my demo. You are able to add live chatbots to your shops. This allows the shoppers to click in case they have any questions for you. Now, commonsku is smart enough to know that I'm not a shopper. I'm actually working here. But if this was the shopper's end, they'd be able to enter their details and start a conversation. So let's dive in and actually create an order. We're just going to click into the shop. And now this opens up and displays the different products that we've made available. Because the company shop is for a particular client, I've gone ahead and I've actually branded everything. So it's very common when you're uploading products to this area, you're not simply using the default images. Instead, you've gone ahead and actually added your client's branding to the different products. Now, I would like to highlight, we have a combination of inventory items and non-inventory items. So because I have activated inventory on this company shop, our shoppers are able to order from their pre-purchased inventory, or they can order things that aren't inventoried. So this would be brand new product. Now, when they click in, they're able to see the product details. This is a very similar layout to the presentation. I'd like to highlight that whatever minimum quantity you've added here will be enforced as the minimum quantity for the shopper to order. So for example, if I go to add this product, it's reminding me that the minimum is 100. If I try to order anything less, it's just going to let me know that I need to increase. Now, of course, your shoppers can order multiple items. So I've got the envelopes here. Maybe I want to add the cards as well. They can continue to shop at their leisure, choosing as many products as they like. Now, I'm actually going to go ahead and order from one of the pre-purchased inventory items, so the notebook that we have here. Now, I've actually decided to display inventory to the shopper. So when they go to add the product, they're going to be able to see what's actually available. And in this case, nothing is quite available. We will be taking a look at the back-end settings when you are making inventory available for your client in the shop. It's really important that you complete that inventory process. That way they've got the convenience of placing the order in here. So this is a quick example of where I didn't complete the process. Let's look at something that has been properly added in. I'm going to go to one of the gift cards I have available. And in this case, there is 90 in stock that they can choose from. Now, because this is a pre-purchased inventory product, I don't need payment this time. They've already paid up front. Just to highlight with the other items, because these are non-inventory, of course, we're going to add those payment details. Now, when they click the checkout, they can see the different billing and shipping options we've made available. As part of your back-end settings, you can actually predefine your contacts or allow your shoppers to add new contacts. Same thing with addresses. You can predefine addresses or allow them to add new ones. Now, in my example, I have not added credit card payment to my company shop. That is one of the options that are available. In this case, though, I'm keeping it simple and just having them submit the order. Now, once they submit the order, they're just going to see a final kind of checkout screen. This is a great place to put any additional details that you'd like to communicate. So that's the order process in the shop. Again, looking from the client's perspective, let's now take a look at some of the, oh, I'm sorry, everybody. Let's now take a look at how we actually process the order. So I'm going to open up a sales order that they have placed through the shop. We're going to look at how we would handle that sales order, what those next steps could be. Okay, so going into the back end of the shop, I am inside the orders tab, and this is an order that I placed a little bit earlier today. If I click into the order, it just opens up a normal project inside commonsku. So anytime somebody is placing an order through the shop, that actually creates a sales order inside the system. Now, I do want to highlight, if we just take a look at the overview tab, it will tell us what shop this order came from. And it also adds any comments that the shopper included on their checkout. So if there's additional details that you should know, they will be in here. Of course, we're also able to send email notifications when orders are placed. So not only can you track these inside commonsku, you will get an email alert as well. Now, just taking a look at the sales order, it's going to have the different products that our client has ordered, including any of those inventory items. Because they already have this on inventory, the cost to our client is $0. They've already paid up front. Now, once the sales order is created, we can still make changes to it. This is where I might adjust things like the tax if I need to change the tax rate. I can also add additional products or services. So in my example, because I didn't take credit card payment through the shop, that allows me to add the products and services here that I might want to capture payment for. So for example, if I'd like to include shipping charges. Now, the next steps really depend on your relationship with the client and how you agreed upon kind of that shop process. You might be sending that sales order out for that formal approval. You might be turning this into an invoice straight away and just sending them the invoice form. Of course, if you are invoicing, you can also add credit card payment to that final invoice form as well. We've got direct integrations with Stripe and Card Connect that make that nice and easy. In terms of the purchase order creation, that would just follow the normal workflow. So you can go ahead, enter your shipping details, and then get those POs created. So it's that simple. Once your client has made the order through the shop, for the most part, you're processing it as normal. Some unique changes here might be things like adjusting the tax or adding additional products and services to the order itself. Now, let's take a look at the back end of a shop. So just beginning inside of the company shop's settings, we're going to start off with the general settings area. This is where you can do things like define the different client rep and order rep. The order rep will get an email notification when orders are placed through the shop. So important to ensure you have the correct person assigned there. Now, separate from the order rep, we can also assign a shop contact. This would be the point of contact inside the shop itself in case your shoppers do have any questions. Now, I've mocked this up so that I'm the point of contact, but this could actually be your end client. So if they want to be the point of contact for their online shop, you can add their details here. Now, you can also password protect your shops and enable that chatbot. So I've created an exclusive chatbot for this client, which I've added through this area. Your chatbots can be created and managed through the chat icon. Now, I'm just going to glide over some of the other settings. If you have questions about these, feel free to add them to that Q&A panel. We also have a bundle of support resources that can help you get this started. We'll touch on those at the end of today's session. So another thing you can add to your shop is a shipping charge. The shipping charge is based on the total of the checkout. So when we're adding this in, we're adding different ranges. If my shopper spends between X and X value, I am going to charge them this shipping amount. Now, in my example, I did not add shipping to the shop because, again, you can populate that on the sales order or invoice. In terms of checkout details, we can predefine those billing and shipping contacts or allow the shopper to add them in. You can even go so far as adding those new contacts to your client. So if you'd like to save them into commonsku just for future business development, just make sure that little radio is selected. Finally, we've got that final checkout message as well as the inventory feature. I'm going to pause this one for now. We'll come back in just a couple minutes. I'll give you a brief overview of inventory. Again, if you'd like more detail, we actually have a past webinar that walks through setting up your inventory step by step. So taking a look at the products we're adding to our company shop, this is the same as adding products to your normal orders. The only difference is that at this time, our Sage integration is not available in shops. So you can still source products from ESP, Distributor Central, Supplier Collections, or add them from your company database. Once your products are added, you can make any changes you need, so editing the items is normal. Typically, we want to build out as much detail as possible, including things like the decoration information and any appropriate charges. You can even add up charges to your shops. I haven't done that in this example, but that's especially helpful if you're charging more for certain size or color variants. Now, once we're done with the products, we are going to spend a little bit of time on the shop design. So there are 4 different themes that you can choose from. These are different layouts that are available. I've chosen to feature our newest theme, categories and carousel today. You can also choose how you want your products to be laid out. So do you want them in a grid style, which is actually what I have here? If we just take a quick preview of the grid, it grabs all of your products and just puts them into these little squares. This is perfect if you don't have time to kind of format the different image sizes. It makes sure that this is nice and uniform for you. Another option you can do is actually the tile style. So if we take a look at the tile style instead, it doesn't use those predefined boxes. Instead, it allows us to have different sizes of images. So this is great if you've got some different dimensions going on. As you can see, it still looks really clean. Now you can choose your accent color for the shop, add your different landing page images, and then in the top left corner, you can actually upload an image or add text here as well. Now, finally, the last stop, of course, is the Orders tab. These are showing orders that your client has placed through the shop. We were actually just working inside this order and we create an invoice. This is the brand new order that we just placed. So you can always see the statuses in this area. And again, the order rep and the shop contact will get email alerts whenever the orders are generated. So now I want to talk a little bit more about inventory. So just going back into the settings tab, at the very bottom, you're able to activate the inventory feature for your client. In order to activate the inventory, you need to fill out all of the details. So giving it a program number, choosing the warehouse and supplier, as well as the warehouse ship to address and point of contact. When you're ordering inventory on behalf of your client, it's going to ship to this warehouse location. It does need to be predefined in the shop beforehand. Now, some options here are the low stock notification contacts. These reps will get an email alert when stock starts to run low. You can also choose to show the inventory on the shop. So I did that in my example. Again, we had our product that was showing the inventory of 100 items available. And then we had our product that I had not completed the order for. So even though it was inventoried, our client wasn't able to actually order it quite yet. So let's take a look at why that can happen. So once you've activated the inventory, you can use the actions button to order inventory on behalf of your client. This is very similar to your client placing their order. We've just got that little green header across the top, so you know that this is actually you ordering the inventory for them. Once you've placed those orders, you will be able to track them in the inventory tab. Now, the inventory tab is broken out to 3 separate sections. So inventory products, orders, and activity. The inventory products shows the inventory products we've ordered. It also shows us what's on order, what's available, and what's reserved. On order means that I've actually gone ahead and created a purchase order for this product. Now, there are some different stages your POs need to be in order for this to update correctly. So although I created a purchase order for the notebook, you're going to notice that it's not showing on order yet. I will show you why when we actually get to the sales order. It's because I haven't done anything with the PO. Now for the other products, whatever is available inside the shop will show as available. Anything that is reserved means that your client has placed an order for this and actually reserved that quantity. So we just did this through the shop. Now, if we click into the inventory orders, this is showing the inventory that you have ordered for your client. If we click into the project number, it actually creates a sales order as normal. Now, at this point, our client needs to pay for the inventory. So once the sales order is generated, you could still go ahead and add any service charges you like. I've then gone ahead and actually invoiced the order as well because we do want the payment from our clients. Now, when we go to generate the purchase orders, all of the products are going to be shipping to that fulfillment warehouse. So again, this is the warehouse that we predefined within the shop settings. Now, when we get into the purchase orders, the purchase order stages are going to impact how the inventory becomes available inside of the shop. So I have the gift cards, actually. They've been shipped out to the warehouse, and because they're on the way to the warehouse, commonsku knows they're available. That's why it allowed the shopper to place the order. On the other hand, I have my order for Numo, so this is for the notebooks, but I didn't do anything with it. Sure, I made the purchase order, but they haven't actually confirmed it yet. It really hasn't moved into production. So for that reason, although the item has been technically ordered through the shop, it's not available for the client because for all we know, the supplier might not be able to fulfill it. That's no shot at Numo. We definitely love Numo. I'm just using that as a quick example here. So that is what the inventory process looks like. I do want to emphasize that this is your end client's owned inventory. So we've created an order for it and we have actually invoiced them in full. So moving forward, when they place orders for the already inventoried items, it has that $0 charge because they have paid for it. Now, there's a couple other things that I want to cover. We're actually going to dive into a couple of hacks. So the first hack I want to talk about is the theme that I've chosen for this shop. For those of you who are a little bit more seasoned with shops, you might have noticed that when I open the landing page, I can actually click anywhere and it just takes me right into the shop. I don't need to click the shop now or browse all products button. So the hack that I've used here is to actually use our newest theme, the categories and carousel theme. I've uploaded a single carousel image, but I haven't added any categories. So we don't have the product categories showing below. So what this does is it makes it just look like a normal landing page, just with a flat image in the background. And this entire image is actually linked that your shopper can click anywhere and it just takes them to the products. So that is hack number one. Hack number two is actually how to take your shoppers straight to the products. So sometimes we get requests where you want to be able to send the shop to your clients, but you don't want them to have to go to the home screen. You just want it to go right to the order side of things. Well, the hack for that one is actually nice and easy. If we have our shop, you can actually just put a / after the shop link and type the word shop. That will give them a link directly to the product area. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate this because I've just realized that I'm actually hiding the URL in the screen share. But if you take your shop link and you write #shop afterwards, or sorry, not hashtag, / shop after the link, it will take them straight there. So literally paste in the link / shop. Sorry guys, this is a bad demo. If you've got questions about this hack, email me because I'm super excited about it and I would love to show it to you. Now, my final hack is actually just how to get more information from your shoppers. So in this example, I have business cards that are available, but of course, if somebody is going to order business cards, I might need to know their details. I do need to know their details. So one of the options that we say is that you can have them type that inside of the checkout comments. In this case, I've actually just created a Google form though. And I've said, before you order this item, please enter your details on this form. I actually also added that to the final checkout message. So if they copy and paste this link into their browser, this is where I'm capturing their business card info. You can also upload things to Google Forms as well. All right, so we've covered a couple different things there. We looked at the client experience of the company shop, We then explored the back end settings, including the inventory settings. As I demonstrated, it's very important to make sure that you have the inventory set up correctly. That way your shopper is able to place their order. We looked at the hack around the categories and carousel theme. So this just turns into an activated image where they can open the shop right away. Now, if you also want them to be able to click on a shop link and go right to the product selection, you can just put /shop after the shop link. That will direct them here automatically. And then if you need additional details from your shopper, this is just one idea. Again, adding a link to this area where they're able to access that Google form. That way I can get that information. Now, before I bring up my guest, I do just want to show you where you'll be able to access this recording. We have our community event button just at the top of your screen. That is the green button here. As you can see, there's an event in progress. If you click into community events, not only can you join or register for upcoming events, you can also view past events in this area. So this session will post to the past events tab shortly after the webinar, probably won't be more than about 15 minutes. Now, in terms of the shop's support resources, of course, you can use our help articles. We have a bunch of help articles inside here. I do want to highlight for the different shops, not only do we walk you through details, such as the shop settings, let's say, there's also a frequently asked questions section at the bottom of every help article. This covers some of the frequently asked questions that come up. So if you find you're stumped at a certain point and you need a little bit more detail, just take a look at the frequently asked questions. It may be in here. Now, of course, if you're in doubt, you can always reach out to the support team, or you can go into your shops tab and actually book a shop talk. This will connect you with the earliest available customer success specialist. So if you have an opportunity for a shop, you've got some needs for your clients, rather than you having to figure it all out yourself, just book a time with my team. We are happy to help. All right. So that is everything from my end. I am just going to stop sharing my screen and I am going to bring up today's special guest. Give me one moment here. All right, so she is just coming up right now. We have Amanda Bouse, who is a project manager at Creative. Hey, Amanda.
Hey, Bre, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Just doing great. Almost Friday, so can't complain.
We're good. I think we've channeled each other too with the simple shirts right now. This is wonderful.
Truthfully, it's got a little embroidery on it, but you can't see that. So it's just like, said it's almost Friday. Keep it casual.
You know what? It's great. It's great. So thank you so much for joining today's webinar. As you know, I'm a massive fangirl, so I'm going to try to contain that while we're talking, but I really do appreciate that you're here.
You're so sweet.
All right. So I am just going to get straight to it. We have got 7 minutes for questions. So
let's do it.
I know that you have created a few company shops for kind of one of your more corporate clients. So could you tell us a little bit more about how you came to an agreement with your client, maybe about how the shop would be set up and place the order?
Yeah, absolutely. So this specific corporate client has 25 to 30 different locations, each kind of operating as their own independent business, but all needing to stay under one brand. So this client came to us and said, hey, we want a one-stop shop. I don't want to have this person in Rogers emailing or, whatever city and emailing. And we're trying to figure out how to get 50 pens to 30 different locations. Like, is there any way that you can just make one collective thing? And we said, heck yes, we can, through commonsku. And so what we did is we went through lots of trial and errors or not even trial and errors, but just lots of examples of pens or notebooks, physical samples. And then once we had all of those branding, all the branding that was on them and all that was approved, we were able to put it into a company shop we call it Office and Marketing Supplies, that is given to essentially the managers of each of these 30 locations. And these managers have the approval from their company to go in and order whatever they need. And it's all going to get invoiced to the corporation, the big head corporation, at the 28th of each month. So it's such a smooth process. And the orders just come in sporadically, but also we know exactly what's going on. The branding's already approved. It is so smooth. It took a little bit more effort on the front end to get everything set up. But once that was set up, it's like smooth as butter.
I love it. I love it. So I love that it's creating ease and convenience, not just for you though, but also for your client. I think you said 26 different locations. I can't imagine trying to corral that, how many pens do you need? How many do you need? And they're just able to do it. So that's awesome. I'm going to add a little bit of a random question here because I am just curious. From that kind of setup perspective, when you were pitching those products to your client, I know that some teams will actually use a presentation form to kind of show the product ideas. Did you use that as well, or did you have a different method?
No, absolutely. We used a presentation because then that can convert into a shop with what they like.
Amazing. I'm not paying her to say this, everybody. This is that makes me so happy, though.
Yes, that's exactly what we did. We did presentation and then converted it to a shop and then deleted the items we didn't need.
Amazing. Okay. So, I mean, you have got a solid shop setup. So how about the order processing then? Do you have any special approvals you need to go through between the actual order placement, so the shop order placement, to delivery of the product?
Yeah, so we have one point of contact with the company who's a higher up who gets notified when these orders comes in. I think more just for, records and whatnot. But because all of the art is already approved, because the quantities that we have listed are approved for the price point, there really is no alternate approval. We have the pre-approved locations already logged in, so they have to pick from the 26 locations. They can type in their shipping name, but it's once they place the order, someone on our team reaches out and says, hey, we received your order. I'll let you know when it ships. Essentially, if they have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. But it has become such a streamlined process that there really is no additional approval needed because we did all that on the forefront.
So I do have to say that it's amazing. And again, just convenience being key there.
So much so.
Just so everyone else knows, not every scenario can be this seamless, unfortunately. And because sometimes, the clients do have checks and balances. So just so everybody on the webinar is aware, you're actually able to collect customer PO numbers through company shops as well. Sometimes that can tier into the approval process. So that is a feature that's available.
I know that we're not using this company shop to the greatest of its potential. Like, it's working great for us, but I know that it can be used for so many different things too.
Oh, and that was not a shot at you whatsoever. I'm glad that you've got a process that you don't have to call 20 people prior. So that's amazing. Couple more things, if I can still borrow your ear here. So in terms of the actual order processing then, so the shop order comes in, you mentioned that you're then reaching out to the shopper to let them know. Internally, do you have any special processes that you follow, or just ways that you're setting kind of realistic expectations with the shopper of maybe when they're going to get the product?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually went on maternity leave recently, and I was kind of the one handling these. And so we made a step-by-step process so that it was anyone on our team could go in. So we get the notification that the shop's been ordered. What we'll go in is we'll go into that sales order. We'll look to see, like you had, if there's any checkout notes. Are there any, maybe they put the wrong address in, or maybe they want special colors or whatnot. We'll go ahead and copy the email that they have corresponding with the sales order. And we have a preloaded we use Gmail email that just says, hey, we've received your order. Standard production time is 7 to 10 business days. And plus shipping, we'll let you know once your order tracks. And so we'll usually put, we received your order of X. So they know it's not just a blank email. So your order of pens or notebooks or whatever. Then we'll go back into the sales order and we will rename the name of that sales order, whatever it is. So if it's Fayetteville, Arkansas pens, just so that the broad corporation knows who's ordering what, when we send that monthly invoice. And then we just go ahead and we actually go into each supplier and add the shipping into each specific sales order. Since that's kind of nuanced, it would take a lot to do that on the front end. It's easier just for us just to do that on each specific sales order. And then we send the POs out, and then they become repeat POs the more times they order that specific pen or that specific Kleenex boxes. And then once that tracking ships, or once we get the tracking, we have a preloaded email that we send and says, hey, your pens have shipped. They're on their way. Here's a tracking number. So it is truthfully, most of the time, unless some hiccup happens, extremely seamless. We normally don't even hear back from the office manager at one of these 27 locations because we're on top of communication, letting them know that we've got it under control.
That's amazing. It's one of the times that it's good to kind of be ghosted or stood up. You're like, wonderful. If I'm not hearing back, it's okay.
No news is good news.
I do have to say, I love a couple things about that actually. So first off, having the internal process for your team so everyone's on the same page, but then just mentioning those different email templates or kind of the predefined details you're going to share. You're taking what is a standardized process, but then also personalizing it just by adding in what they've actually ordered. So it doesn't just feel like, oh, auto-generated, you know?
Yeah. Did an actual human get my order, or is it a robot?
Yeah, exactly.
I understand that.
All right. Well, we are at the end of our call, but I can't let you go without just asking, do you have any tips or tricks that you would like to share with other commonsku users?
I would say changing the name of the sales order to what specifically they ordered or what specific event it is, super helpful for bookkeeping on our end as well. And then the second thing is that if you're planning on having lots of things that are reordered, going back in to that original artwork in the shop, and you go into the details, putting that as it is a repeat artwork, and then putting that PO number, repeat of PO X, so that whenever that next PO goes in, the supplier can go ahead and see this is a repeat of this PO, and you don't have to keep going back and looking for what that repeat number is if you already go back and load it into the shop, if that makes sense.
It totally does. And I actually love that because that's insight that, I don't actually place orders through commonsku. I will show you how to do it, but I don't do it. So by you actually having the experience, being able to say, just go back and add this to those details, it's going to save time down the road. That is so true. So those are so great. And it has been so fantastic having you on the webinar.
I'm
Thank
so
you
honored
again.
to be here.
All right. Well, we love you, Amanda. We love everybody here, of course. So if you type any questions in the Q&A, we will get back to you. And I hope everyone has a fabulous day.
Thanks
so much for your time. Bye.
Bye.